Welcome to Melbourne's Medical Centre. Do you have young children who are always chattering about in your home? Are you wondering how their speech development is progressing as they grow? Today, this health infomercial will explain the key developmental milestones and provide strategies to facilitate improved language development for your child. Additionally, aside from acknowledging areas of difficulty, we will also present the key signs and significance to the development of early communication in infants and toddlers. This is brought to you by the best speech pathologists of Melbourne Medical Centre. Hello everyone, my name is Megan and I will be reviewing the fundamental processes of language and speech development in this age group. According to Brown's stages of development, a child can go through several key developmental milestones from their birth up to 24 months. These milestones fall under two categories, which are the stages of language development and the stages of speech development. The stages of language development involve infants and toddlers aged from 0 to 2 years old. With this, the first stage comprises of infants from birth up to 12 months. By 6 months of age, infants should already display pre-linguistic or pre-verbal abilities, such as having unintentional reflexive patterns in speech by grunting or crying to symbolize vocalization. Following that, by 12 months of age, infants should begin to have a preference and attachment for familiar people or things, such as toys. They will start to produce facial expressions and body language to indicate their wants and needs to the people around them. Therefore, turn-taking with infants at this age is the best way to encourage language development. The second stage encompasses toddlers aged from 12 to 24 months. At approximately 12 months old, toddlers should be seen exploring, and this form of curiosity to the world around them can facilitate optimal language development as well as motor development. Toddlers must also have increased communication competency by starting to use two-word combinations. This strategy will replace receptive language with expressive language, which is important to toddlers for engaging in successful interactions with the people around them. On the other hand, the stages of speech development are also made up of two stages involving the same age and group of children. Similarly, the first stage relates to infants since birth up to 12 months. By 6 months old, infants should be cooing and crying to demonstrate pre-linguistic and pre-verbal abilities. Accordingly, by 12 months old, infants should be utilizing vocal play, syllable strings, and extended babbling. Toddlers aged from 12 to 24 months will have advances in speech development every 6 months onwards in the second stage. For instance, at 12 months old, toddlers will have said their first word. By approximately 18 months, toddlers should have already uttered around 50 words, and at 24 months, two-word combinations will begin to be used. Ultimately, parents and guardians should be aware of these stages, and further monitoring would be beneficial to ensure that your child is developing at an accurate pace in accordance with Brown's stages of development.
Hi, my name's Grace, and I'm going to be highlighting some of the limitations that children may face if they have difficulty in developing their early communication skills. As my colleagues have mentioned, early communication skills are vital for the healthy development of children, particularly in regards to social cognitive behaviours and communication patterns. Thus, when children face setbacks in these areas, their ability to participate in activities and daily living can be severely impacted. One of the main issues your child may face if they encounter difficulties in developing their early communication skills is the inability to effectively communicate their needs. According to Bates and Associates, both verbal and non-verbal communication are essential in transmitting messages to others, and young children rely on both forms of early communication in order to articulate their needs to parents and caregivers. Brotherton and Associates also highlight the particular importance of vocalizations and gestures in the development of communicative intent, which allows children to communicate what they need from those around them. As my colleague Megan mentioned, according to Brown stages, children should develop the ability to produce vocalizations, facial expressions, and body language that expresses their needs by 12 months of age. These skills are vital for children to be able to let their caregivers know what they need, such as if they are hungry, thirsty, or tired. If children do not develop these skills, they will struggle to function in their daily activities due to the communication breakdown between them and those around them. Furthermore, when children face challenges in developing their early communication skills, their social skills in both the present and the future can be severely impacted. When children do not develop communication skills at the same rate as their peers, social interactions can become exceedingly difficult. According to Tang and Associates, non-verbal communication gestures are vital in social interactions, such as requesting and sharing during playtime. Carpenter and Associates also highlighted that these early non-verbal communication skills predict the acquisition of language skills later on in life, and thus are an indicator of the social ability of children as they grow. Additionally, a study by Nathan showed that children with language and speech disorders were more likely to exhibit inappropriate behaviours during social interactions, such as stereotyped conversation and inappropriate initiation of conversation, as well as less use of conversational context. This research demonstrates the fact that children who do not meet Brown stages of language development can face immense difficulty in engaging appropriately in social interactions. Without the ability to communicate with other children, both verbally and non-verbally, children will struggle to make social connections. In conclusion, children who are facing difficulty in achieving the appropriate stages of language and speech development can face limitations in their ability to participate in daily activities, particularly regarding social interactions and the communication of needs. Thus, why it is so important that parents and educators are able to properly support children develop their early communication skills.
Hi, my name is Jomana Alashi and I'll be discussing strategies that will help develop and encourage early communication for children. Early communication skills are important for the development of healthy communication patterns and social cognitive behaviors within children at a young age. Common signs of these skills may include language comprehension, reciprocity, gestures, and unintentional communication. For many years, parents and educators have been discovering strategies to encourage early communication within children in order to ensure they establish cognitive and social development. Thus, this will in turn allow their communication to develop in a functional and meaningful manner. Parents and educators can introduce strategies such as joint attention, playing, and imitation to help develop early communication for children. Joint attention refers to two individuals focusing on the same object or event. This is vital in helping children develop early communication. Parents or educators can utilize this strategy by attending to the object or event with their child through eye gazing, pointing, or other verbal or nonverbal indications. Engaging in this strategy will encourage the child to communicate, whether it be nonverbal or verbal. Cooperative play refers to children playing with other individuals, thus allowing them to learn from their peers and simultaneously learn to build social relationships. Play forces children to learn a means of communication, whether it be direct or indirect. According to multiple research studies, children who regularly play with an adult or parent enables them to refine their language skills through listening to them and thus allowing them to develop early communication. Imitation further enhances early communication and typically occurs when children begin to emulate their parents. Parents and educators can introduce this skill by ensuring eye contact and projecting various facial expressions so that their children are able to imitate them. Research studies have provided evidence regarding the brain's ability to focus on a variety of speech sounds and consequently mimic them during the early stages of language development. Therefore, communicating around children and ensuring they are exposed to different words and sentences allow them to learn and imitate these sounds, thus developing the early building blocks of language. Hence, although language development is unique to each child, there are many strategies in which parents and educators are able to introduce in order to facilitate the development of early communication skills within children.
Hi, my name's Dijana. I'm here to speak about why all the things we've addressed, like early communication milestones and the way parents can help children to reach them, are so important for your child's journey with language development. The truth is, learning to speak is complicated enough, but on top of that, there are a number of skills that children have to develop before they reach this stage. We've spoken about turn-taking, play, and eye gaze, and why they're important for this milestone, but you're probably wondering how these are going to help your child in years to come. Firstly, eye contact is a big part of listening and being involved in a conversation. It's how we show that we're engaged and active listeners. We see this in its simplest form through the way infants bond with their carers through eye gaze, but it's also present in toddler development. We see this in the process of learning to focus on a speaker and being able to follow their hand gestures and facial expressions. According to Kaiser and Roberts, toddlers who can follow their speaker's eye gaze and gestures are more likely to develop a wider vocabulary as they grow. This is because children learn words by seeing an object and learning to associate it with the sounds their carer is expressing. A child's gestures and attempts at communication from a young age can be indicators of their ability to converse once they have developed speech. According to Ruka et al., toddlers who are confident in gesturing and pointing out objects to their carer are more likely to feel comfortable initiating spoken conversation in the later years. This shows how encouragement and support in early parent-child interactions can have an impact on a child's confidence as their language develops. Overall, the infant and toddler stage is important because children are beginning to observe their surroundings and experiment. According to Owens, the infant stage is where children begin learning the basics of how to be involved in an interaction. There are a number of communication skills that infants and toddlers are exposed to when watching adults converse. This includes skills like learning to wait and listen for your turn to speak, adapting to the back and forth nature of conversation, and using facial expressions and gestures to help add meaning to speech. It's important that children develop this understanding before they begin speaking, as these cues make it easier to maintain a conversation.